Well, I happened to take my Audi in for service today, and of all the loaner cars I can get, I got an S4. Now, I did pay tribute to the S4 for the 2016 model, which is the last year of the S4, and it will be about a year until you see the new body style S4. And what I have here is the 2015. It's essentially the same as the 2016, with the exception of the way they package in Bang & Olufsen with the technology package on the Premium Plus. So, let's have some fun. Now that I don't have a brand new one, I can actually take it to the limit, right? I've got a lot more going on in this car for me than in an A4, and at the same time, as bland as it looks, it really blends in, and it's sort of very subtle. No one expects you to just launch and go crazy and sound awesome while you're doing it, right? Which is what makes the S4 such an awesome car. And, you know, when I was a kid, I always liked the M3. The one that came out with 333 horsepower just was the perfect BMW in my mind. And this really brings me back to that sensation where you just want to get in and you just want to have some fun. And you want to go, you know, spirited in a canyon. We don't have canyons here, but we do have some great places to take out and stretch some legs. So let's go do that. First, we turn this bad boy on. Oh yeah. That's great. Let's hear it. Oh yeah, baby. Oh shit. That was only 4,000 RPM. That little cut. Oh, it's sensational. Much better than a 4-cylinder. Oh, this is the life right here. One hell of a loaner car of all things. Let me bring the mic out and show you what that sounds like. Let's roll these windows up. The only downside is this one is not a manual. You can get a manual. Can't go wrong either way, actually. Depends on the level of fun you want, how much effort you want to put into it. I mean, just the difference between the A4 and the S4 is it's a completely different car. It's the same body, same pretty much components everywhere. Little upgrades here and there with the seats and, you know, an engine does make the car. That's like the heart and soul. So I have drive select here, and that allows me to, you know, press that button, and now what I get in the center display is an ability to change it from auto to dynamic to individual to comfort. So we're going to go with dynamic because we can. And basically, I'm going to give you a sensation here, as much as I can, what the S4 is like to live with on a daily basis. Let me just turn the fan speed down here. I got the AC on because it's 93 degrees out. It's never comfortable here in Texas. And once traffic gets going, we can open it up. So I'll just be quiet for this drive. I want you guys to really get the last kick out of an S4. This is the last, pretty much, time you can get one. It's last call. And, well, I'll let this video do the talking. I gotta say though, this is therapeutic. I mean, I had a Q5 that I took in for service. Just getting back to the lower center of gravity, lower to the ground, a little bit smaller, a little bit tighter package, and a lot more power. Man, this is just an amazing machine. All right, here we go. you get in dynamic, it goes into sport. But I can knock the transmission into manual mode, and now I have full control manually. So I'm in 5th gear. I can downshift. Man, the gear changes of that dual clutch are so refined, so slick. You look for excuses to downshift. And then the power delivery is great. I also love the sound of the exhaust. You're in normal traffic and you just kind of accelerate and it's, subtle, and then all of a sudden you open it up and you go, holy moly. It sounds like, oh yeah! That's the exhaust sound in this car. Alright, I'm going to shut up now. Beautiful. That was sport mode. Say that the steering itself is a little vague in dynamic mode, and you can change drive select to be comfort mode or just stay everything in auto, but the reality is electro steering is very precise, and the feeling is a little unusual, but when you realize you can steer with the throttle, it makes no difference what the feedback is in the steering wheel. You're going to feel it in the seat of your pants. So the best thing you can do is just roll with it, and you just drop it into a gear. Be very, very gentle. And it'll work out because it's all-wheel drive, and traction control is working in some situations. And when traction control is working, you really don't want to give up on that. You need to just basically keep your foot in it and let the car work it out. Just keep your foot in it. Gets up to speed right away. I love it. Now this little bit coming up on the road is like a very nice kind of hard couple corners at a 70 mile an hour highway. You have to get down into 3rd gear in this car, so it really is challenging corner. It's a challenging corner, so I got 30 miles an hour from 70 to 30 and then hard left. Let's turn this off. Manual. Charge control. I can hear, I think it's the ABS module kicking in, just a little bit of braking in the corners, and it's to keep me stable. I was really pushing it, and I think, overall, there was no squealing from the tires. Was I pushing it to the limit? I was close, but I think there was more to go. And it's just unbelievable the amount of fun you can have in an S4. And, you know, if you've got an opportunity to even get a used one in the next couple of years, this video, I hope, is 15, 20 years old on YouTube. I hope it gets really old and people go, I remember that car when it was new. Because if I have a chance to buy a really nice one of these, when I can earn and save enough money to do it, I'd get one without hesitation. Manual, DSG, makes no difference to me. I want one. I don't even care what color it comes in, as long as it's nice. Alright, no air conditioning, manual mode. Let's see how it goes. I was shifting at around 5,000 RPM in those first few gears. Don't want to grab too much attention at those intersections. And that's kind of where, you know, I do have to talk about TDI. You know, diesels are not as flamboyant or showy or, you know, loud as gasoline engines. So in a diesel, you do get the same sort of surge, a wave of torque, but you're not making any noise, not getting any attention. And for some people, that's better. You know, no one needs all that attention. Now that's transmission, sport, dynamic, and if I just go to drive select and auto, you notice it changed the pitch and upshifted, and now it's a little bit more calm and relaxing, and I'm in drive mode automatically when I do that. I got the air conditioning on here. Let me turn the fan down a little bit. And 70 miles an hour here on the freeway. This is relatively nice pavement too. It's fairly comfortable. I mean, you get a little deep hum, but it's not an annoying deep hum at speeds that's constant, right? So you can sort of take this on a road trip for an hour or two and make it. You know, you're not going to be like, oh my God, my ears are bleeding. See what I mean about being able to use that power and get those gaps? People text a lot around here. It's not a good thing at all, but it creates a lot of gaps. Huge gaps. I think a bus can overtake in these gaps. This is a 10-mile-an-hour left turn. See what I mean about therapy? It really puts a smile on my face. That's all that matters, right? You can kick the tail out a little bit if you just oversteer a little bit and just get a little. You know what? I'm gonna go one more time. One more time. these left turns is it kind of starts to feel like NASCAR after a while. Who wants that? That's not why you buy an Audi. Supercharging is cool too because there's hardly any lagginess. You know, you put your foot in the throttle just a little bit and response. I'm so used to and I'm so conditioned to the way turbos just sort of spool up, and you know, you have to constantly rev these things, change gears, keep going, more, power. But with a supercharged V6, it's just kind of always there. And when you want to relax, you're not always changing gears. You just kind of go. You put your foot in a little bit, feather it in. It's not going to downshift. It's got plenty of power to keep going. That's a benefit. Well, unfortunately, it's 6 o'clock and it's time to return the loaner car. So, all in all, I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to drive an S4 all day, have a lot of fun before and after work, and I'm going to miss it. I really am. Maybe one day I'll be reunited and reacquainted with an S4, and I hope you do too. It's worth it. So when I take some cars out around the block, I always have this unwritten rule where I don't push them hard, especially when they're new. Number one, because they're not mine, and that would really suck for the person who actually buys the car to find out that someone hooned it. And number two, when you have a high-performance car or a sports car, these tires don't get grippy until they've warmed up. So if you just get in the car and start blasting around corners, you're going to be like those idiots at Cars and Coffee who spin out and crash up on the curbs. The tires are cold. They're not going to grip. You throw a bunch of power at those wheels, and you're just going to lose it. You're going to lose your shit. So when you get in a car and you want to really start pushing it, you're going to have to warm it up, kind of get the fluids moving, get the tires gripping. And, you know, if you can drive it for 10 minutes, that'll be great. And if it's a nice hot day out, I mean, you could do it in a couple minutes. But you don't want to just get in and just start going for it, because you're going to lose it. And that's one of the worst things that you can do, really, is just do this rookie newbie thing of getting in and putting your foot to the pedal and putting the pedal to the metal and spinning out. If you do that, you don't belong in a sports car, you belong in a Prius. So, especially for you young drivers out there who want an S4, want some badass fast car, you gotta remember, if you've never been in one before, they will bite your head off. They will take you to the grave if you're not careful. And so it's very important to get used to it, settle into it, and then open it up. Like that. Don't ever do that unless you're on the highway. If you're gonna go fast speeds, do it when there's an open road. Don't do it in traffic. Don't do it at the stoplights. Don't do it anywhere where people in front of you are slowing down. You just have to find open space. Because you want to be able to keep going, right? You don't want to end up stopping into something or running out of too much room and then slamming into a wall or slamming into a car or someone crossing the street. You really have to make sure there's space, because it's not your typical hatchback, it's not your typical sedan, it's not your typical family wagon. Whatever it is you're driving, if it's the souped up version, you have to be patient, wait for the opening, and then let it fly. Have fun out there.